shifting gears, but staying in the East, there's another surging team out there in Cleveland. They went on, yeah, this is for you. No, they went on a really, really long winning streak too. I think what did that get up to? 10 games straight, I think.
10
Yep.
games straight, 18 out of 20. I think
Yeah,
from
With
like
like
the top of the
Garland just getting back healthy.
just
Yeah.
getting back healthy. Donovan
And
Mitchell
Mobley.
falling. Yeah, so
Yeah.
how deep can the surge? How deep can the Cavs go? Like, what's their ceiling out in the East? What seed do you guys think they'll be in? Let's talk more about the Cavs and kind of unpack the greatness that's happening out there in Cleveland.
Here's how I feel about the Cavs, right? So y'all remember when Donovan Mitchell was in Utah, and y'all remember when they had the 1 seed in the West, and nobody was scared. I fear that this could be a similar situation. Now, mind you, Donovan Mitchell is further in his career. I think he's better. I also think he's hungrier. So there is a difference. I'm not saying it's the exact same situation. Can he carry this particular Cavs team like to a conference finals? Because I don't think they're going to fall lower than 3, right? Because I think they'll stay. They also have a relatively easy schedule for the rest of the year. So I think I don't know. They're going to be 2 or 3. It honestly is up in the air. Of course, I would love for the Bucks to get to 2, just because it would mean we probably found our mojo, and we should jump them with us being like, less than a game behind. But if they continue their winning streak and they stay right there, that wouldn't surprise me, right? So I think they'll be 2 or 3. How far they can go, I think really depends on, yes, how far Mitchell can lead them, but it's going to depend on how this team can perform in the postseason. Will Garland take a leap, right? Will Allen be able to take his leap? Like, he's having a great regular season, don't get me wrong, but can he do that and then some in the playoffs, right? When you're going to have to play against dominant bigs your entire road to a conference finals, to a finals, whatever the case may be. I like Cleveland's team. I think they have a really good roster, and the way it's constructed fits a Donovan Mitchell-led team, right? So I think it makes sense. I just don't know if they have the firepower among the elites, which right now is just Milwaukee and Boston, right? Without Embiid, it's really hard to tell what Philly will be. And I know Embiid wants to come back. It's just there's no telling what he looks like if he does come back for the playoffs, regardless of where Philly ends up being seated. But I don't know. It depends on their route. I think it depends on their route, what their matchups are. I think Donovan Mitchell's going to have to be spectacular. And I think the supporting cast is going to have to take the leap that we didn't see them take last year. Do I expect them to have a bit of a chip on their shoulder because of last year? Yes. But ultimately, again, depending on matchups, it just might be a really, really, really tough road. Like, if you're going to draw, well, if they don't fall lower than 3, they may not draw that bad of a matchup, depending on how things, play out. But it's still kind of up in the air. I can't put my finger on it. Like, they're having a great regular season. I want to respect that. Have no idea what that means come playoff time, though.
Yeah, I think it's all matchups. It's truly a crapshoot for them, I think, because I don't have enough data on them. Like, I saw them fold to the Knicks last year. Or what was that last year? Or was that the year before?
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah. I don't know. It's who you pull at this point, because for me, I think the same thing. It's like, I don't know if I can throw my stock behind Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he's gotten that much better from that Utah team. I think he's relatively the same player, that he makes a little bit better playmaking now, but I still think, I don't know. I need to see him in the playoffs.
Better, Gail?
I think he can, like, I feel like we've seen these flashes. I feel like I don't think Donovan Mitchell is doing anything that he hasn't done. He's just doing it a bit more efficiently. I don't think as a player he's really, I feel like I see players take evolutions sometimes when we're talking about those real like deal superstars where it's like, wow, they made an incremental change from here to there. I feel like he was always kind of given the keys to that ship at Utah and was putting up great stats at inefficient pace, and now like a very inefficient pace. I just, is like their team comp just doesn't compel me. Like that between him and Darius Garland, their front court's very good, I think. But Evan Mobley and Jared Allen shore up what you need in a guard tandem like that. But I don't think that he's enough of a creator for a Mobley or an Allen to be as efficient offensively like Conley was to that system. Like Garland does play that role more, but
He has to.
I also think he's better as a legit scorer. If he's alone and has a better wing than Donovan Mitchell playing fake guard, I think Cleveland is better off. Like if you give Garland more touches to be the Trae Young type player that I think he could be, I'm not going to give him like full steps because I feel like he's more of a breakdown and create type of guy off of this jaw surgery. And you get someone that can defend next to him at a high level. I think you have something that's better off in Cleveland than trying to get off like you get some, I get some type of offense, because then you lose on, actual production in a game. And some guys get like, I feel like that's when we see those games that one of them is just like, well, okay, what did you do today? Like you just it's kind of like Boston, where it's like you just let the other guy that's getting paid 300 mil do everything, and then you just kind of chilled for the night. So it's like, I don't know. That's kind of my take on Cleveland. They're still very good, but playoff good. I got to see it. More data.
Yeah. Steve, the connection you made between that Utah season as when they were first and this Cleveland team, I never thought about it, but that's true. Like that's exactly how I feel. You put my emotions into words, and that's eerily similar. Because like if I had to see Cleveland in a 7-game series and I'm Boston, I'm not scared. If I'm the Bucks, I'm not scared. I don't care what surge you guys went on during the regular season. Matchup for matchup, I don't feel like Cleveland puts fear in anybody because, man, those top teams in the East, they're different breeds, So while I do feel like Cleveland has made a step, I feel like they made a step when you match them up against teams middle of the pack, such as the Knicks or such as the Pacers. But when you get to the top dogs like Milwaukee, Boston, and a healthy Embiid in Philly, it's like, okay, now, all right, now too much dip on your chip, because that's not the case. So that connection that was a really great connection. I really do agree with that.
Yeah, and Gail, honestly, I didn't want to agree with you, but I get what you're saying. I do. And I didn't want to disagree.
Oh no, as two guards that get shit done.
No, literally. And but
one of them got to defend better.
Yeah, but in the league, and I don't want to get off on this tangent because this is a completely different conversation. But the league at this point is we know it's about team comp and team makeup. And I don't know how many teams we've seen. That's why there's such a big question mark in Dallas, because when you are a backcourt like led team,
I think it's different in Dallas too, because Luka can at least his size matches up differently, and I feel like that's the difference. Where it's like you need someone that can guard multiple positions. If you're gonna have a two guard front, that might you can't rely on the offense always beating the defense. It's gonna be who's gonna grab more boards, who's gonna do a bit more of the intangibles than the other.
But you gotta think Luka could average a triple-double if he wanted to. So this isn't just Luka putting up points. Like he's giving you 30, but he's gonna get you between 7 and 9 rebounds, and he's bound to get you 10 assists if people making their shots. Right. Yeah. So it is a little different. But like with Cleveland, both of y'all actually made great points, but they just don't instill fear. And I don't know if that's just because Donovan Mitchell is not that guy. He's a guy. He's one of the guys in the league, but he's not in that upper echelon of that guy. And since he is your leader, as great as he is, as electrifying as he can be, like you said, when we get in the playoffs, we grinding down, we're studying, like you're the focal point of the 7-game series. I know he's gotten that before, but I'd have to see a leap from Garland before I could really make any true assessment. I'd have to see if the players around him, I don't really question Donovan Mitchell, right? But him alone is not winning you a series, especially when it comes to, those top dogs in the East. So it's tough. I think the seeding will be interesting. And I think that if they end up being 2 or 3, which I don't see them falling out of that for real, but they'll probably get a favorable first round matchup. But I think that's it. I think they maybe get out the first round this year because they might mess around and pull an Indiana or Orlando. Or they might, who knows where Miami's going to end up at by the end of the season. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But like if they pull an Orlando or Indiana, I think that they win that series. But if they get New York, if they somehow, some way get Miami and they're healthy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Hell, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know where Chicago will end up placing, but Chicago is still a very competitive team this year. And in a 7-game series, I don't know if Cleveland has that much talent to where I can say, yeah, talent alone, they should beat Chicago in a 7-game series. I don't know. Like, they should, but even if that series goes 7, it's like that series shouldn't have went 7. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's kind of where Cleveland falls. So I don't know. I don't want to disrespect what they're doing, and I don't want to write them off. But like you said, Gail, we just haven't seen enough. We haven't seen them prove enough for me to feel like they can make a deep run this year.
Yeah, and if they draw the Knicks, I think it's a wrap. I think they've seen enough of them, and the Knicks got better.
Right. So, where Cleveland did not. So
yeah.